the Republicans could win, it at least slows it down. I mean, I think people in the Republican, there's clearly people who go to Washington and actually believe it and then are turned, or they go to Washington, they're already a dirtbag and they know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
And then there's a few that go and stand and are trying to hold the line.
But they're a minority.
A big minority.
Or they get forced out.
Correct.
If I'm not mistaken, Ron Johnson, right? Was the one that challenged a lot of COVID narratives.
Yes.
And I mean, even mainstream media, NPR, supposed to be objective, says, he spreads conspiracy theories and his challenger's a rising star. And, you know, I mean, they're very clear about who they favor and who they don't. And if they don't want you to win, they'll gerrymander your district. They'll do some, I mean, there's lots of tools that they can use to prevent you from staying in office, and who knows what we'll see in the midterm elections. But ultimately, you know, those type of people that are willing to stand their ground and actually fight for the American people are very few. It doesn't really matter what party you're talking about. It's very small number when you consider the amount of votes needed to pass certain legislation. Yeah. So I think ultimately, the way out of this is for the American people to realize that yes, this is a fight between good and evil, but if you're looking for the good guys, stop looking at people that are put on the TV screens in front of you and start looking at your neighbors. Yeah. And
the answer is so clear. Local. Yes,
absolutely. This is really us versus them. It's not left versus right anymore. Yes. We are so far beyond that. Yeah. Really.
And it's amazing and very heartening how many people that I know and I interview that we would have been against each other 15 years ago. We would say, you're, and now it's like, no, forget all of that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's heartening that people are waking and starting to come together. Question is, do we make it fast enough? I've been saying for a while, this is going to be a photo finish. I don't know which one's going to.
I don't think anyone really does. And I think it comes down to how much responsibility people are willing to take for their own lives and you know, how far communities are willing to go to ensure that they're self-reliant in the face of what we're facing.
What does that mean to you?
Well, if the banks are deplatforming people, you can't use their financial system. Are you going to go to the CBDC land where eventually you won't be able to spend money without like a microchip in your hand and all of this stuff? You know, there's obvious red lines people can't cross. How are you going to feed your family? How are you going to keep your house heated in winter? You know, basic needs. I think we should probably be taking some lessons from the Amish, to be honest. I think, you know, I think they got a lot of stuff right.
That the Amish, they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. We have
outsourced everything. Our needs to corporations that want to enslave us. So we have to start producing our own stuff at a local level. It's all about exit and build, and that's what we have to do. And the more people that do that, the better off we will be. The real question is how accustomed are Americans to convenience, and will we be enslaved by that convenience or not? And I think that's the ultimate.
So far we have been.
A lot of people have